Obviously, it was a good team win. We did a lot of things well situationally. We played really good team defense, ran the ball effectively, made enough plays on offense in the kicking game. I thought we did a good job protecting the field position, especially earlier in the game with a little bit of that wind going in the one direction.
Saints head coach Sean Payton, his team is victorious for the first time in 42 days. New Orleans defeats the Jets 30-9 in New York City. The Saints open up as an 11-point underdog at Tampa Bay. That number is going to go down. I would try to get it at 11. That's just me. Marcus Williams made a lot of people cheer at the very end of the game, Musso. We had to discuss this. So the Saints are up 30-9. The Jets are driving down. They're in the red zone. They're trying to score just to salvage some pride, And Kyle Wilson actually makes a really good move, or Zach Wilson, makes a really good move. Looks like he's going to score. Looks like he has enough momentum to break the plane, but Marcus Williams makes a really nice form tackle, and that tackle prevents the over from hitting. So if you had the under in this game, you were going nuts when Marcus Williams made that tackle. If you're a Saints fan, you were going nuts because the team finally got a win, and they did it running the football, Musso. They carried the ball 44 times compared to 21 passes. Alvin Kamara, bienvenido de regreso, welcome back, goes for 27 carries, 125 yards, and a touchdown. This game wasn't pretty, but it was also never really in doubt, and it was a necessary win for the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, not pretty. A bit of an understatement. Very much a grinded-out football game where the Saints were a one-dimensional offense, but it's really all they needed to be, and we kind of talked about it going into it. Run the ball, control the clock, and have your coming-out party again on defense, and they did that. They were hungry for a great defensive game. You got guys back. I thought Marcus Davenport played really well in his return. I thought Marcus Williams, who you mentioned there, saving the under for many bettors across the landscape, played really well in his return. I thought Marshawn Lattimore had a really good game for the Saints as well. And look, it definitely helped that the Jets were without Moore offensively, but that's a team that they struggle to do even the little things well, and it shows. It just shows very, very blatantly. I thought New Orleans really dominated from jump there.
Yeah, Kamara was going to make a big difference offensively, and the Saints, some people imply there might be a pitch count. That was never going to happen.
31 touches.
Yeah, and maybe he should have gotten even more. That's an argument that you can make. And we'll talk about Alvin. He's going to be huge the rest of the season. I'm so happy they didn't play him in the prior 4 games. Now he's healthy for the home stretch, if not 100%. But Marcus Davenport being back is huge. And this Sunday, when Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, Cam Jordan, and Marcus Davenport are all on the field at the same time, to me, that makes the number not have to be 11. It should be lower just on that factor alone. And we had to talk about the impact that Marcus Davenport makes, Musso. In the third quarter of this game, he made a very Marcus Davenport-like play, or at least continue to do what he's been doing all season, and that is dominating opposing offensive linemen. And again, the stats aren't really there, not even the official pressures, but if you're watching these games, you can see the impact that Marcus Davenport is making. In the third quarter of this game, he pushed his blocker right into Wilson's lap. He had to roll out, and Quan Alexander ended up sacking him as he ended up flushing right into the pressure. So Quan Alexander finished the play, made the sack, but Marcus Davenport, again, doing what a defensive lineman should not do to other grown men in the National Football League.
It's what we've talked about all year. When he's out there, you see a noticeable difference in the Saints defense, and specifically in the Saints pass rush, which has been the part that's lacked for them. I thought he allows others around him to be more productive, like you're demonstrating there with Quan Alexander, like he's helped even having Cam Jordan become more productive because more attention's being paid to Marcus Davenport. You saw it happen with Carl Granderson yesterday as well. His impact on the game is far more reaching than just him sacking the quarterback. And it's a welcome sight for somebody that you gave up 2 first-round picks for.
Yes, 2 firsts, finally showing up. We love to see it. Marshawn Lattimore has had some really good games this season, but he's also had some really bad moments. We were talking about it before the show. He's tops in the NFL in PBUs, pass breakups. I believe he has 16 on the season, but he's also top 5 in terms of yards given up whenever he's targeted. And in this game, statistically, he played really good. He had 2 pass breakups on 6 targets, and he's been playing pretty good the last couple of weeks. And we know that when Marshawn Lattimore is on, this Saints defense is just on a totally other level, and they're going to need a typical Marshawn Lattimore, Mike Evans game this Sunday, I think, to where he totally locks him down, because the first performance, Lattimore did an okay job against Mike Evans, 4 catches, 48 yards throughout the game, but he did have a touchdown catch on Marshawn. Tom Brady puts it on the money. That was a big play in the game. The Saints go on to win, but you're going to have to be almost flawless in this game to me if you're going to take Mike Evans away and be able to limit this Buccaneers offense.
Yeah, Lattimore's a lot of feast or famine. I mean, I think that's just kind of where you are with that. I mean, you mentioned it, leads in pass breakups, but also, has given up a lot of yards this year. Not necessarily, I guess, his typical game against Mike Evans, although very good. For me, shut him down and then help force some turnovers this weekend. I mean, if we want to start peeking ahead there, I mean, that's going to be massive. That's been massive, and any time you've beaten them before, it's going to be even more massive here. I think stepping maybe a little bit away from defense against the Jets and going more back towards the offense and maybe Taysom Hill, what you were able to see them do in the running game with him and Alvin Kamara, and specifically Taysom scrambling. Taysom, he ran for over 100 yards against the Cowboys, and about 44 of them or so came based off scrambles. That's a facet of his game that I think he just kind of continues to get better in. That, okay, it's not there, read 1, read 2, let me go and get what I can get. Even if it's just 2 yards or 3 yards, get something positive, because, and that's huge, because a guy like Taysom doesn't really necessarily have the best pocket presence anywhere, but in that part of his game where it's, okay, read 1, read 2, run, and it's keeping plays afloat for the Saints and keeping drives alive for the Saints.
That's the important thing. That's where they struggled the last couple of weeks against the Bills and the Cowboys. The offense was a lot better with Taysom Hill in there as opposed to Trevor Siemian, but he was just making some really untimely plays that contributed to the Saints losing those games. Musso, this was Taysom Hill's first game as a starter where he had 0 turnovers.
Yeah.
Not a single fumble, not a single interception.
He tried his best, but
But yeah, and he had some moments in the game where he didn't show really good presence. He's still taking sacks in certain situations where he shouldn't be doing that. He still needs to show me a little bit better presence, but he is figuring some stuff out. And like you said, he's playing a lot better to his strengths. In this game, he goes 15 for 21 passing, 175 yards, no touchdowns, but no turnovers, just as important. And then rushing the ball, he's really effective. A lot of those came on that 44-yard touchdown pass where Alvin Kamara apparently told his dumb butt to slide. He didn't do that, but he still finishes the game with 11 carries, 73 yards, and 2 touchdowns. We know he's a weapon in the red zone. He's starting to become a little bit more of a weapon everywhere else on the field.
And good, don't slide. There's time on the clock, Taysom. This is still a real game. Everything still counts. Go score. Go score. Leave no doubt. You haven't won a game in over a month. It felt good to win. Felt good to win big. I know the Jets are terrible, and does this really mean a lot for the Saints? Probably not, but it felt good to win. Don't slide. Run it up. As long as there's time on the clock, everything still counts. You're trying to win. Go win. I love it.
It was fun to get a win. It was fun to broadcast a win in Spanish. It felt a lot like calling the LSU-Florida game. Like, wow, this is what it's like to win. I almost forgot what it was like. Saints get their first win in 42 days. They defeat the Jets 30-9 in New York City. They open up as an 11-point underdog on the road against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.